Welcome to the podcast mini series, How to Plan Your Wedding in 10 Days. I'm Andy, the founder of The Bridal Journey, and along with me, I've got Georgie from After the Rock, and we're going to guide you through planning your wedding in just 10 days. So it's almost here. These final days are about double checking details and ensuring everything is ready to go. So it's the final stretch, Georgie. What should couples focus on during these last few days?
Few days or few weeks. Let's give them a few weeks, okay? Look, a few weeks before at least would be nice. Definitely pull everything together. So you've done all your planning, you've reached out you've secured all your vendors, you've done your styling, your decor, your invites are out, you have your guest list. You're going to be doing all those final preparations, like all of the information you need to get back to your suppliers. So it might be the venue, you need the final numbers and dietaries and things like that. So there's quite a bit of admin going on. What we recommend is putting everything into a couple of pages. So we'll give you a lovely little template to have a look at that in the downloads. But basically, you want to have this like amazing sheet that has everything about your wedding on 2 pages. So basically, on the left hand side, you're going to have all the information about the wedding date, the venue, access times, the address, really basic information, all the details around the timings that you've got. So your run, like a mini version of your run sheet. You're going to have the list of food that you're serving. You're going to have the decor, and it's going to be listed out, in this area. We've got in the ceremony space, we've got floral petals that are being tossed. We've got an arbor. Like, what are all the things that are actually going to be at that spot? So anyone can pick those pieces of paper up and tick that off. Like, this is where, like, floor plans, if you've got them, CAD plans, if you're going that next level as well, like full plans of the space and where everything is going, so that someone can really, it's good communication. The final version of your mood boards. So like, now you've got these mood boards probably from the beginning that have hundreds of photos, but now narrow it down to, okay, this is the ceremony. These are our three inspo photos, and these are photos from our mock-up. Or, here are photos of the exact chairs that we've got. Here are the photos of the exact cutlery that we've got, just so someone can pick it up. And if the delivery comes and the chairs are different, they're like, hang on, that's not the chairs that you've communicated with us that you want. So get that 2-3 page document sorted. It will be such a great communication tool, and it'll give you so much peace of mind. It takes a while to do. So if you can, throughout the process, fill it out as you go. As things lock in, just add it into that document as
And
well.
adding in little notes, I suppose, from different vendors. And I guess
Exactly.
someone who, I'm assuming our audience who are listening are not event planners, or there's
Mm.
bump in and bump out times. Can you explain some of that process and timeline too? Because if you're a bride organizing your wedding, this is something that you need to know and understand. So, how does that whole thing work?
I will urge you, like, if you do have the opportunity to have someone assist on the day, like an on day planner, I would really highly recommend that, because a lot is going on in that time, and you do not want to be the person that everyone is reaching out to. And look, I'm not selling my services. I don't do on day planning only. I do for wedding planning, but I just know that either a really trusted person that's not in your bridal party, that's not needing to be with you all day, or definitely get a professional in to help, because a lot's going on. So bump in is the access before the wedding starts. And all your vendors are going to want to know about this, the people that need to set up, like, how long have we got to set up what you're trying to achieve. So make sure that, you're really clear with the venue on what that is, and also clear with your suppliers as to when they can come in. For example, you don't want someone coming in and set up the tables with the cutlery and crockery when the linen people aren't coming in until an hour later. Like, you can't set anything up until the linens are down. So definitely you need to have those conversations and do a run sheet and work out when everyone is coming in.
And another thing too, a lot of people forget about the next day. And I also want to rewind that. And that is, you might have to pick up some items yourself. And
Yes.
you need to communicate and understand, are they delivering it to the venue, or do you need to pick it up? Because things like napkins and linen, they might not drop it off at the venue. So don't assume anything. You might have to go pick it up.
Yes.
When are they available to pick it up? So those little things that perhaps people don't understand, you need to understand how all the actual things are getting to the wedding, but
Totally.
then also how they're getting picked up.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
discussing with your venue who's removing the flowers. Is it the florist? Is it the so it's that day after? You just can't leave all your stuff there, and you need to work
Yes.
out a plan on, are you picking up your wedding box? Your wishing well the next day. Like how the logistically those things happening as well.
Absolutely. And like we've got this online program, Wedding Mentor Online, and it does go through like all of the things that you need to think about. Obviously, it's planning a wedding from start to finish, but one of the big things we have in there is exactly that, allocating who those people are going to be. And a lot of the time, that that late night time slot from midnight till 1 a.m. is usually when venues need you to get everything out. So you need to make sure that that's all handled and that you're not they're not throwing things out at the end of the night because no one's organized to pick them up.
And then for people that are also doing a marquee wedding, sometimes it entails actually washing all the cutlery and
Yeah.
returning it washed.
Yeah.
And people forget that.
Yes,
Is there anything
definitely.
else people forget as well
Gosh, so many
in
things.
terms of like if you're planning your own wedding?
Yeah, I just think that not realizing like how much actually needs to get done at the end of the event. Like it's pretty slow to set everything up. It's pretty quick to get everything out, but as long as many hands make light work. So it's just I do find sometimes, if I've been to a wedding, not necessarily the weddings that we do, but I've been a guest and you see like the mother of the bride like walking out with like hands full of things and that's fine that the mother your mum's taking things home, but probably not the best experience at the very end of the night. Like try and organize it so that you can have someone come back the next morning and pick everything up or organize with the venue to be able to, you know, to do it maybe even 2 days later if they've got capacity to leave that somewhere too.
And in terms of if brides are planning their timeline for the day, a lot of people do ask me this on the bridal journey, but is there any great timeline flow you could suggest? Like, should the ceremony go for 30 minutes? And then how would you kind of run the day?
Yeah, so settle in. So we say that start your ceremony, we always allow an hour no matter what. Even if you're only going to take half an hour, we kind of just have that in our mind. So let's say 4 p.m. start time. So 4 till 5 is your ceremony. 5 till 6 is really that drinks and canapes time. It normally ends up being more than an hour because ceremonies don't usually go for that long, but we normally say, an hour. Now, make sure that you factor in travel time. If, for example, you're having your wedding in a church and then you need to move to the next space, you want that cocktail hour to start when guests arrive there. But let's just say the ceremony and reception are in the same spot. So 4 till 5 ceremony, 5 till 6 drinks and canapes, 6 o'clock everyone moving into the space. My favorite format is that guests are seated, MC starts, does a welcomes the bride and groom or bride and bridal groom and groom into the room. Once they're there, we then love to have a couple of speeches straight off the bat. So they've already had something to eat, something to drink at canapes. They come in, they're fresh, a couple of short, sharp, amazing speeches. And then we go into entrees. And then we like to, after entrees, I don't love speeches while people are eating. So after entrees are cleared, then we'll do two more speeches and then mains. And I love to have all the speeches done before mains go down because then everyone can just relax, enjoy themselves. Maybe you do a toast or something during courses if there's extra people that you want to speak, but that don't really, you don't want them to do a full speech. Maybe they do a toast or you do roaming mic with the MC or something like that. That can be really fun. And then I like to move everyone up out of their seats, cutting of the cake while they're all standing around watching. And then either we whip the cake off or they move, just a little bit over and the dance floor starts. So everybody is on the dance floor for the first song. I just find that is how the dance floor gets pumping. People don't get left behind. People aren't sitting at tables while that's all happening. So really pushing the movement through and then party, party, party.
Is there any way that is a very great tip about getting people to start the party?
Yeah.
But is it just managing that flow of the day? Like, how do you stop people from kind of finding seats and just dispersing from the dance floor? Is there any like key trick with that?
I think serving dessert on the dance floor is really good. Serving drinks. So, like, have everyone on the dance floor do obviously, first dance. If you're going to do a father daughter or any other sort of family dance straight afterwards, do that. And then absolute banger. Make sure it's just a song that everyone will be on the dance floor for, like young and old. Just like make sure it's something that's epic. And then I love to serve a big round of drinks, whether it's something to like perk people up. It's a Tommy's mug. It's like an old school espresso martini. It's a shot. It's a limoncello shot. It's a something that's really fun and that people are like, oh wow, we've just been drinking wine all night. And now we get to like really like, all gin and tonics, vodka to sodas, like whatever is your drink or a drink that will get everyone excited and give them a lift because they've just been eating, they've just been sitting. Like it's good to kind of get them all up and going. And then once that sort of peters off and you've got everyone a drink, then bring out the dessert. So you might have whipped the cake off and you're serving your wedding cake on platters or something, great. But maybe like a little bit later on, you could do like ice creams on the dance floor or something really easy to eat so people stay there. Again, like bar on the dance floor is good. Like very when I say on the dance floor, like adjacent to the dance floor is great. So people are just if they are wanting to wander off and get a drink, they're still on the dance floor essentially, and they're just coming straight back again. Closing down that other space too, like wherever like if it's in the same vicinity, the dance floor and the tables, I almost like black out the tables with the lighting. So like even I'll leave candles on because I don't love blowing out a candle and it just being like smoke everywhere. But I really black that area out and make the dance floor really energetic. And lighting too, lighting and sound so important. Like if you can afford to do some moving lights, have like actually have a lighting tech there who is actually like working with the music and, fun, disco ball, fun, like things that are just going to keep people on the dance floor and keep them comfortable. And also maybe some form of cocktail tables, like high cocktail tables, or even a couple of lounges around the dance floor. So it's got a bit of a nightclub feel. So if people do want to sit down and they don't want to be right on the dance floor, they can be sitting down on the lounges and still part of it.
That's a really great tip because I think that's the worst thing. And we've all been to those weddings where you're giving the opportunity for guests to go find other places.
Yeah,
And sometimes it can really ruin the vibe because people go off in their own little spaces or directions and that kills it, doesn't it? So I
totally.
like the idea of blacking out the tables, not allowing people that opportunity. It's like you better get up and dance
Yes.
for my wedding, giving people just shutting it off.
Exactly. We've done short order too, which is really fun. So like you are all sitting around on the lounges and there's a little menu on there and you pick it up and it actually has like burgers, fries, like, and you can like actually ask a waiter like and it's a bit of a cheap trick. Like the burgers are already ready to go, but they bring it out to you like it's like you're late night snacks at a bar, but
Mm.
really it's just part of the late night snacks. Late night snacks also really good. Like
Yes.
a round of pizzas, a round of whatever. We've also had like Messina, like ice cream carts, like on the dance floor. We've had like trays of desserts coming around. We even recently did a wedding. It was so fun, actually. This was the client's idea, and I loved it. And they bought through like a Lebanese dessert on trolleys with these guys who were just like epic, um who like sing to Lebanese music and like very cool. They came through the dance floor and just handed out this
While singing,
incredible while
that's a
singing,
vibe.
and it was like, very cool, like, really awesome remixed, like it was just very cool.
That's
And they
fun.
came out and it just kept the dance floor going and they handed out the desserts.
Yes.
The Kanefi brothers, I wanted to remember their names. And they were so fun and so cool. Like just making
Yeah.
really fun sort of moments as well to like keep people guessing. We did a wedding years ago that was so cool, and we had a clock up on the like a countdown clock, like a bomb was gonna go off, but not. And it counted down, and every time it got to 0, something happened.
That is
It
awesome.
was really cool. So we did, it was years ago, but we had it and it was at one stage it was like 40 minutes. And everyone's like, 40 minutes. And they thought that was like counting down for like the dance floor was going to be over. And then after that went off, a huge confetti cannon went off. And then it was countdown for 20 minutes. So everyone like we did the confetti count, everyone's like, it's gonna be something good. And then after 20 minutes, this incredible singer came out and did this like crazy performance. And then we were gonna do a few other things, but we ended up doing like I think the last one was the couple actually did a really cool first dance, but at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned into like them getting up on people's shoulders and then like all their family getting up onto people's shoulders and just having this really crazy last dance. So, you could do fireworks at the countdown, you could do all sorts of things. So yeah, just thinking of how to like keep engaging people throughout the
I
night.
love that. What a good episode. So next one's the wedding day, the final episode of our wedding planning series. So
Crazy.
we'll see you next week.